Street.
Oh, the misery. Oh, the misery.
Yeah, man. You in your best life right now, dude. You think you complain so much all year. You finally made it happen, and we're out. So, and then you ain't even wear Eagle stuff, man.
So I got the Sixers. I did Flyers right after they lost. Now I do Sixers, and I lost a bet, so I got to wear 49er green tonight, which is so pathetic. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fly Eagles Fly podcast here on the Broad Street Misery Network. And yes, unfortunately for Jay Bliss, he caught way too much of my crossfire because I was getting so angry with this damn team and so fresh with his offense. But that's why we call it Broad Street Misery, and that's why we're here to talk to you, the fans, tonight here at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, again here on the Fly Eagles Fly podcast on X, Apple Tunes, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot to cover tonight, believe it or not, even with this horrific loss on all kinds of levels. And Jay and I will get into that. So thank you for joining us. Jay, I think we have a lot to discuss about this game that I think you and I were both frustrated with. So many aspects to it, so many tentacles to the end of this Eagles season. I think a little way too soon. I think we both can agree on that. Yeah. But let's get to this. I think our most biggest thing is, of course, we came out today. I can't believe it took 2 effing days. But, ladies and gentlemen, I have never in my life seen Christmas come this early for Jay Bliss.
Yes. Kevin Patullo, get your ass out of here. Get your ass out of here, dude. I don't care nothing about your feelings. I don't care nothing about your family. I don't care nothing about what about the kids. I do not care. Get your ass
out of here.
Out of here, dude. Like, you gone. Hey, listen, eliminate the excuses. I don't want to hear nobody trying to blame my quarterback. I don't want to hear nobody trying to blame my offensive line. I don't want to hear nobody trying to blame my defense. I don't want to hear nobody trying to blame the head coach. I don't want to hear nobody blame anybody else. If you eliminate the thing that all the fans knew what the problem was from week 2 on, the Eagles fans are very intelligent. We've been saying fire this dude for the longest time. To only score 6 points in the second half of that game was insane.
And here's the thing. Let's cut to the chase here, because I agree. And it's a broken record for us, right? All year, right, that we've been talking about this. I think to go to the chase on this, and I think you and I have agreed on this. We talked about this. Number one, I don't think Kevin is stupid. I think he's actually a very smart football guy. Number two, I think he is definitely built for what he was a part of, which is the passing game coordinator. Number three, I think he's got a good football mind. I think he lives and breathes football. And I think he's a great compliment to Nick Sirianni. That being said, even with all those skills, Jay, this is the issue. And I think we both knew this and we talked about this. It's not his intelligence. It's not his football acumen. It's that he just isn't that guy. Whatever you want to say, he's not built for it. He doesn't have the mind for it, but he is not a guy who can call plays throughout the game. He's just not built to be an OC. He's built to be a passing game coordinator, which he was for 5 years.
And then see, but here's the thing. So to me, a run game coordinator, a passing game coordinator, to me, that's a title. That means you don't do shit. Because you're not calling the play.
That's what I mean. That's what he's built for.
Wait a minute. So if you're not calling the play, what the hell is a passing game coordinator? It's somebody that goes into the offensive line's ear and be like, hey, maybe we should try these couple plays over the next quarter. Like, is that what a coordinator does? Is it the person that says, hey, if such and such goes down on this next play, I'm the coordinator, you're going in to sub for this guy? That's what a coordinator to me is.
No, so what I understand this as, because remember a couple of years ago with the Philly, this is how I found out what a passing coordinator does and what Stoutland does. So Stoutland does is the running game coordinator. What they do is they bring specific plays to the OC saying this can work in our system. Whether they go to college, other teams, whether they go to a different playbook, you bring passing game elements and plays to the coordinator who then integrates it into the playbook. And same with Stoutland. So you're never ever calling that play, but you bring plays to the OC and they either go, yeah, that'll work, or no, that doesn't work. Bring me something else. So you're doing a lot of scouting work for them. You're doing a lot of the heavy burden of what plays to bring to the playbook that they can call. The key with that offensive coordinator, which Kellen Moore and Steichen do very well, is how to take that playbook and throughout the game, pick the right plays that are going to play the right chess match with that defense, just like Vic does with the opposing offenses. So that's why I just don't think he has it in order to be that kind of OC to pick those right plays.
So, all right, let me go to the common sense strand here, okay?
Go ahead.
If I was in his position and I have no experience with calling NFL plays,
right?
Someone said, Jay, we're going to pay you $2 million for this season to be the OC for the Philadelphia Eagles. Right?
Oh, you better hire me as your passing coordinator.
No, I'm already a passing coordinator, but we're going to hire you. I got no experience of calling plays. We're going to hire you to be the OC this year. Now, I know all the pressure is on me, right?
Right.
But I just went through a whole season with a whole playbook from somebody that left our team and went to be a head coach. And that whole playbook that he had in front of us got us a Super Bowl. Why aren't you running them plays?
Well, again, here's my thing, right? Here's the thing. It's not that he doesn't have the playbook. He's got it. It's not that he doesn't know that there's good plays in there. He's got it. But he doesn't know how to go, Jay, you see that defense right there in the second quarter? See how they're lined up? Send that play in and say, here, Hurts, you can have one of these two plays. Try this out. Because this worked in the first quarter, and I see they're going to probably line up again. They have the same personnel. They're probably going to do this cover two. Try this play. He doesn't do that. He just goes in the rule. He just goes like this and goes, try this play, try that play. He's picking out plays based on the fact that it's just in the book, not because it matches up to something they've done. Remember I told you about this with Kellen Moore in that Super Bowl said, they're lining up because we're doing the 12 personnel. We've got Barkley in the backfield. They're going to rush everybody. They're going to bring 8 in the box. We're going to have one-on-one with Smith. Let's just throw deep and end this game. That's called thinking. That's called using your book, but knowing the right time to use it. He doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah, he got to go.
So that's why I'm saying I think it's just his inability to know how to call a game. There's a difference between being a coordinator and being a guy who can call a game. It's a whole different world.
The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result.
Correct.
My problem from the beginning of the season is the fact that you went 2 years prior and did the same thing you did when we didn't make the playoff, or we made the playoffs and got bounced to the first round the last time. And that was picking a brand new offensive coordinator. That was the Brian Johnson year.
Correct.
So you go back after winning the Super Bowl, because we went to the so after you win the Super Bowl, you go to the Super Bowl, you lose in the Super Bowl. That coordinator leaves. You bring in a brand new coordinator, right?
Right.
You fail. You fire them, bring in a brand new coordinator who has experience, go to the Super Bowl and win, and then you come back after that coordinator gets the job and you bring in a brand new one again. Insanity.
Right. No, you're right. Here's the thing. When Steichen left,
yes,
they said, look, Brian Johnson has a relationship with Hurts. He knows this offense. He can give it a shot. It just didn't work. I get that. I think that was just.
But the thing about it was, I will say this, our defense wasn't as good as it is now. So
correct.
Our defense gave up a lot. However, it was a culmination of the defense not being good and the offense not being good.
But I'm just saying. So my point is not has to do with that. And by the way, the defense that year had a ton of injuries. Remember, we had no linebackers.
You're right.
So that was an issue right there. So what I think Sirianni was doing was saying, look, we've got Brian Johnson in the building. He knows Hurts. He grew up with the guy. They have a good relationship. He knows this offense. Let's give him a shot. Because sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you just have to go, we have to give this guy a shot, right? Just like we've talked about with rookies, right? Sometimes you just got to be like, we got to see, like Kelee Ringo, we got to see if he sinks or swim. And he sunk. This year, I do believe is the same thing. I believe with you, I think we were both talking about it, they should have gone outside the organization and found somebody. But you had a guy right there who knew the offense, did the passing coordinator for 5 years. He's like, listen, Nick, you know me. Give me a shot. I know I can do this. And so he goes, okay, he's my buddy. I've known him since the Colts days. This is a smart cat who knows what he's doing, KP Trash. I love it, Netta. I love it, baby. We giving him no shot. Yeah, I know. And so that's what I'm saying is that I think at the end of the day, Jay, it was nice for him to give him a shot, but you and I both agree that by mid-season, he should have taken it upon himself, taken him out of that position and say, Howie, I need a different eyes on this. Should we keep this guy on and give him his shot, or should we just end it now? And somebody should have told him, dude, end it now. He just doesn't know what he's doing. Just demote him back.
I mean, forget saving face. You had a whole season you could have saved. The other thing is, like, you know, you are putting yourself. I think the arrogance of winning the Super Bowl put him in a position where he could be like, I can't do no wrong.
A la Peterson.
Right. I can't do no wrong. I know what I'm doing. I just got us a ring. Trust me on this. And they went with it. And now you failed twice picking your own OC.
Right.
This is the second time you picked your own OC and you lost. So near Sirianni, you can't pick your OC no more. It's the same thing as if you was a defensive coach. Defensive coaches don't pick offensive coordinators. They typically say, hey, let the GM do it, right?
Yeah.
But they'll pick a defensive coordinator because they know the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Well, you let us know, not only did you take the play calling away from yourself your first year coaching, after your first year coaching, you was like, I'm taking the play calling away from myself because you're trying to keep your job, right?
Right.
You let us know that you can't take over play calling because you should have.
Right.
You should have taken over play calling if you was that dude, right?
Right.
We know you can't take over play calling. We know you can't hire offensive coordinators, right? So you're just a good manager.
That's it. That's all he can do.
That's all you are. You're a good paper shuffler. You the dude that sit in the office and shuffle papers and look busy, but everybody else is doing the work.
You got to do that, George.
What's wrong with that? It's nothing wrong with that. You just might be a good leader. You know what I'm saying?
You know what he is? He's the perfect guy. You walk down the office and he has vice president under his name. And you're like, what the hell does that guy do? But he's there for 20 years.
He there all the time. He'd be like, well, I don't know what he does, man. That dude just be there. You know what I'm saying?
He's there 8 in the morning. He's there 6 at night. He's working a full day.
Right.
But I don't know what he does.
Right. So now here's the thing. Whoever they bring in is going to be 10 times better than what Sirianni did. The problem we put ourselves in with keeping Kevin Patullo this year was how he has extra work now because of all the free agents that we have. And I know we'll get into that and how we're going to navigate into next season. That's where we're going to have a problem.
All right, so we got a couple things coming up. So just keeping everybody abreast on what we're doing. So we're going to go through the OCs right now who we want to see next year. Then I do have a list of pending free agents. And by the way, I have very little coming back.
You got maybe 4.
Yeah, and I also have all the openings in the NFL right now because God knows I love a good opening. And that's what she said. And then we're going to get a little bit of the game. I think there's some things we do have to call about in the game because we do have to discuss that. But we'll get to all that good stuff. And, of course, we do have some lovely trivia that we need to get to as well. I will not be doing stats tonight because nobody gives a shit about stats in the playoffs.
Nobody.
So let's get to it. So, obviously, we all know Kevin Patullo has been fired. He is out of here. Now, here's the crazy part. Let me correct myself. He has technically not been fired. He has been officially taking the title away. That's what their official announcement was, is that he is no longer the OC. But I don't know if you read that correctly, Jay. He's just having the OC taken away from him. Nothing has been said about him officially being fired, if you look at the actual statement. So just so you know, he may be back as passing coordinator, which would be insane. I believe that Kevin will leave just because with the egg thing and the whole other stuff, I just don't see him. I think he's a fresh start somewhere else.
Right.
So, again, we have under Hurts, his OCs over the past 6 years, Doug Peterson in 2020, Nick Sirianni in 2021 / Shane Steichen, but it was mostly Nick for the start. 2022 was definitely Shane Steichen. 2023, Brian Johnson. 2024, Kellen Moore. 2025, Kevin Patullo. In 2026, there'll be somebody new. And not to mention the fact that he had a different offensive coordinator every year in college too. So this guy has never had back-to-back coordinators since
Steichen.
Kind of technically, but if you start at the beginning of the year, technically at the beginning of the year, whoever the offensive coordinator, he has not had the same offensive coordinator to start the beginning of every year since high school.
Right.
That's crazy. That is absolutely 100% crazy.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, so let me go through some candidates, Jay, one by one here, and then you can tell me who do you would like to see in here next year. And I'm not, and I have these in no order. It's just the order that I wrote them down. So we have Todd Monken. Now, who is Todd Monken? He is nearly 60 years old, kind of like Vic Fangio, probably not going anywhere. Definitely doesn't want to get any kind of head coaching position. Now, after he was fired along with Harbaugh and all the Ravens staff, and so he was the offense coordinator for the last 3 years with the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that guy hold any intrigue with the fact that the other aspect of this is wherever John Harbaugh goes, he's probably bringing him with him. So I don't know if you're going to get this guy anyway. But let's say he's available. Is this a guy that you want as an offense coordinator, being that he was the offense coordinator for 3 years with Baltimore?
Yeah, they run the ball, right? They except for the playoffs.
Except for the playoffs, right?
They run the ball. They know how
exactly
to score.
Right.
They know how to score. And they just in the playoffs for some reason they put all their onus on Jackson instead of what got him there. And that's the strange thing about it. I don't know what that's about. But if he brings that nonsense, hell no. But if he does what he does in the regular season and does it all the way through the playoffs, then yes, absolutely.
And I think also, too, you're talking about a coordinator who understands a quarterback that is not really limited as a passer, but is not at his best as a passer. He's best as a runner and a game coordinator, even though Lamar has been an MVP multiple times, and he can be dynamic in the passing game. But we all know that Lamar's overall athletic ability and his ability to just elevate a game is there. I think this guy would understand this offense more than anybody else. I think he would be a fantastic fit. Mm-hmm. Mainly because I don't think he's going anywhere, even though he was a head coach. He's interviewed a couple times as a head coach. I don't think he's got that desire to get to that next level. Mike McDaniel. Now, this guy is only 42 years old. He's going to probably want to go back as a head coach. So if he came here and lit it up over a year, which he probably would, we would lose him right again. So I don't know how I feel about that. And again, he's also the one that McDaniel didn't defend Vic, but he also didn't bury Vic. So you're going to have to work with a guy that you kind of just let go. So it could be a little awkward there, but there's no doubting the innovative mind of Mike McDaniel.
Right.
I mean, it didn't work out as a head coach, but man, can that guy call an offensive game. I mean, we're talking about a team that he actually put up 72 points with this team. I mean, he knows how to put up points. So What are your thoughts with him?
I look at him the same way I look at Howie Roseman. Like, he's not somebody that comes from a football background. He just been around the league. He's been around the office. He worked his way and found a way to make it happen. And I mean, you got to admire somebody like that. And I'm not saying he's an offensive genius, but he's had head. I mean, would you rather bring somebody in that was a head coach as a coordinator? I think that's a plus.
I guess so, but I mean, he does come from the Shanahan coaching tree, which I thought is pretty nice.
That's good too. I mean, like I say, it's gonna be hard to talk. It's gonna be hard for me to say no to anybody after what we just went through. That's like asking me who do I want for a head coach after Rich Kotite left. Like, anybody works. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, you might have some opinion about who
have a car. It's like somebody that doesn't have a car. Anytime they see a car, they're like, "That's a nice car." Of course, a nice car. You don't have one.
Kevin Stefanski, Browns fired him after 6 years. Fortunately, he was saddled with
a head coaching job. But here's the crazy thing about Stefanski. He's more likely to get a head coaching job before he goes to OC again.
True.
Realistically,
you'd like to have him.
He was head coach of the year twice. So the problem with Stefanski is don't let him come in and the offense is buzzing, and then Sirianni's doing Sirianni shit, and then the fans be like, "We should fire Sirianni. We want Stefanski as a head coach." Like, don't do that.
I could be bad. Now, see, that's a good opinion because there you might be like, Kevin wouldn't be my first choice. So there you go. I mean, it might be like, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's like Nick, the only reason Nick is not on the hot seat is because Patullo is here.
Right.
If it wasn't Patullo, they be calling for Nick. They be calling for Nick to get fired.
Very true. I mean, it's right. It's like he's taking all the spotlight away from Sirianni.
100%.
Cliff Kingsbury, would you like to see him here? Now, Cliff Kingsbury, again, he was the offensive coordinator for the Commanders the past 2 years.
Yes.
You like him? Okay. Of course, we talked about this, and I told you in a heartbeat. Brian Dable, who was the last head coach of the Giants, I think he would be fantastic here.
Yes, 100%.
And I don't
Dable as an offensive coordinator and Fangio as a defensive coordinator, that's back-to-back Super Bowls.
I would think so too, because Dable's a no-nonsense guy, just like Vic is, and Dable's very respected. I don't see any. I saw a lot of the offense to me. I don't know if you saw this year, Jay, but it looked like a lot of offense was kind of just discombobulated, very much like 2023. Everybody wanted to do this and that. Everybody's kind of outspoken. Whereas in 2022 and 2020, I mean, there was nobody saying anything.
Dude, just the penalties alone.
Right. I mean, the penalties, I mean, it's undisciplined. I don't think they respected Patullo. And you just have to have a guy that's got to come in who's going to command. Like Kellen Moore came in, and he looked like he didn't really say much, but for some reason, you saw Hurts and the whole team just gravitate towards the guy and say, okay, whatever you want, we'll do it.
Right.
Here's another one I thought, you might want to look at. Nate Shielhase, whatever his name is. This guy is 35 years old, a quick riser. He began his coaching career in Illinois. He was the OC at Iowa State, in Illinois, and then Iowa State. The last 2 seasons, he's worked under Sean McVay as their passing game coordinator.
No.
Okay.
Fuck no. And that's the thing. That's the same thing we talking about. You talking about somebody that has no experience being an offensive coordinator. Why bring him in? Let him go somewhere else and fuck up. Don't come here and give him the keys to the damn Ferrari.
Okay, so you don't like him, but
we have no room for anybody that doesn't have this experience. This is not an on the job. It's not a team that has potential. We were defending Super Bowl champions. You don't just give somebody keys to that.
So he was under Sean McVay, but I
don't care who he was under. I don't care if he's under Bill Belichick. Has he been an offensive coordinator before?
At the college level.
Get the fuck out of here. No, you haven't been one in the NFL. Get your ass out of here.
Out of here.
No.
All right, Clay Kubiak has also not been a coordinator, but he was basically the OC under Kyle Shanahan, who calls the plays.
If you have not won a national championship in college as his head coach, get your ass out of here. No.
Would you want the OC under Kellen Moore down in New Orleans? That's Doug Nussmeier.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. So this is the thing. Kellen Moore was an offensive coordinator. He got the head coaching job, so he had to just grab people to fill in his roster. Right? His offense is still his offense. His offensive coordinator might only be a puppet. He might only be a title holder.
He is a title holder.
You see what I'm saying?
All right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I got to ask you.
A passing game coordinator. He just got the OC title.
Zach Robinson is a former Sean McVay assistant who began his coaching career as assistant QB's coach. Robinson spent the last 2 seasons as the Falcons OC. But when Raheem Morris got fired, he got fired. So he has been the Falcons offensive coordinator the past 2 years.
Falcons didn't look good at all to me.
All right. So you don't want him.
Nope.
How about Mike Kafka, who was the OC under Dable and then took the head coaching job?
He was the quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes, wasn't he?
Yes. Look at you now. You're kind of thinking about
it. He was the OC for who?
So he had a few positions in Kansas City before taking the OC job with the Giants with Dable. But I guess he was again a title holder because Dable really called the plays.
Nah, I'd rather take Dable.
All right. David Shaw, Stanford head coach from 2011 to 2022. He was back into coaching and served as Lions passing coordinator, your favorite title, in 2025. The Lions did have the NFL's number 3 passing offense this past season, though.
Oh, nope.
Mike LaFleur. He has coached under Shanahan and McVay.
Mike will be a head coach before he's an OC again.
Yeah, I think so too.
He'll with all those vacancies right now, Michael LaFleur could end up as the Pittsburgh head coach. Like, you just don't know.
So Frank Reich is the last one.
Frank Reich, I would take in a heartbeat.
So he's 64 years old. He's definitely not getting back into head coaching.
Yeah, he would.
Not head coach. Not head coach.
Who? LaFleur? I mean,
Frank Reich does not want to be a head coach again.
You say he doesn't want to be?
Does not.
Did he say that?
You could tell he doesn't. He just doesn't.
If the right situation, Frank Reich would leave again.
At 64?
Yeah. Shit, Pete Carroll was what, 85? Like, what are you talking about? What are we talking about here? Like,
now here's the thing. He flamed out in the Colts, but that wasn't his fault. You had
that's what I'm saying. If the right opportunity came about, he would take it again.
I don't think so.
I think he would. I think he would.
All right, so you would take Reich. You would take Dable. You would take Kingsbury. You would take Stefanski, even though he probably wouldn't come back. You would take McDaniel, and you would take Todd Monken. Okay, so there's a good couple bunch of candidates. Dickerson was way too big this year. It's too slow. You know, Snapback Jug. I don't know. Wow, that's a crazy name. Dickerson, by the way, that's a good point you bring up. Dickerson actually acknowledged this year that he's been playing with 3 different injuries.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of work to do in the offseason. He's going to have a couple of different surgeries. So he's hurting. I think he's got to get that knee done. The one he kind of messed up before the season.
Yeah.
I think that knee bothered him all year. I don't think he was able to plant, really do stuff. I don't think he was himself. So if he gets himself cleaned up, and now they got time. Now you've got all kinds of months. Like, I don't want you coming back for OTAs. I want you just back for training camp.
Yeah.
So you got 6 months to clean yourself up.
Yeah, the question is like, do we, and I don't want to jump off this yet, but does Lane Johnson stay or does he retire?
I think he's coming back because I don't think he wants to end it like that.
I don't know. We'll see. If he does come back, he will announce this is his last year.
I think so too. I think he does one last year. I think he was talking about.
I think BG retires too again.
Oh, it was definitely going to retire. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't regret coming back because he still played and had fun. But it's a shame that he has to end it on that versus a Super Bowl, you know?
100%.
All right, so head coach openings. You've got Dolphins, Ravens, Giants, Titans, Falcons, Cardinals, Browns, Raiders, and the Steelers. That just came out. Mike Tomlin, after 19 seasons, and John Harbaugh, after 18 seasons, are now no longer with their team. So the longest tenured head coach now is?
Andy Reid.
That is correct, who has been with the Chiefs since 2013. So he's got 16 seasons under his belt.
That was a great guess by me.
That was so easy.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
How many Steelers coaches have there been in history?
3.
Correct. Chuck Noll from 69 to 91, Bill Cowher from 92 to 06, and Mike Tomlin from 07 to 2025. That's insane. That is insanity.
So the buzz is the person that might get a look as the new head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hit me.
Is the Notre Dame head coach.
Oh, I did hear about that. I just heard about that today. Yes. But I heard he's not planning to leave, though.
Listen, dog. Let me say something to you. Dude. Pittsburgh Steelers go call him. You might be like, you know what? You want to talk about job security, dude? Like literally, like, why would you not think about that job? You understand what I'm saying? Why would you not think about that job?
I think you think about it. I don't know how much you do because, again, listen, Notre Dame, while your money is not going to be exactly the same, obviously with NFL and college, but Notre Dame's got some cachet, man. And if you really like what you're doing in college, a lot of college coaches don't leave the NFL. They like being in the college ranks.
That's fine. You can like it. But I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, dog, who don't fire people.
I'm talking about practice, man. I'm talking about practice.
That's what he's doing at Notre Dame. He practicing.
Also, the GM openings are still with the Dolphins and the Falcons. The Chargers have fired their OC. So if Eagles really want the best OC out there, there's a lot of holes to fill because you have all those teams, Dolphins, Ravens, Steelers,
coordinators.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus the OC. I mean, you've got 10 or 11, maybe even 12 OC openings, including ours, this offseason. You better get it done and get it done quick for wherever you want.
You gotta have to find. But here's the thing: like for OC to come into Philly, they gotta understand you got the talent there. We got the highest paid offense in the league. You know what I mean? The talent is there. Like, it's just up to you to make sure you can implement what you need to do quickly.
Yes, exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. All right, we're half past the hour, so we're half past a bloated ass. Let's get to this game review. I was watching a lot of the breakdown of this, and it was painful, Jay. It was absolutely painful. But here's a play that I'll throw out to you and see if you remember this sequence. It's the late third quarter. They're driving. They're winning 13-10. You go up here to a touchdown, you make it 20-10. It's a different ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
So late third, they're driving. 3 plays before they make that field goal to make it 16-10.
Mm-hmm.
They throw a screen to Barkley
Mm-hmm.
that was already blown up. So Hurts pulls and McNabb throws it right in the ground.
Yep.
So right then and there, like, wrong time to throw a screen. They already had it. They already knew it. So why even put that in there? Then on second down, they decide to go under center. They actually literally, instead of play faking it, they hand it off to Barkley, who loses 3 yards.
Yep.
That's the first play. That's the second play. The third, and now you're 3rd and 13. And they decide, in his infinite wisdom with Kevin Patullo, to call a QB draw that gains 5 yards.
Yep.
And he basically went down before even if it was near him,
Yep.
almost to play like I'm just playing for the field goal.
They played a zone the whole game.
Yes,
they
they
played
did.
a zone the whole game, meaning everybody's facing the quarterback.
Right.
So quarterback draws were not going to work.
Right.
Unless they were in man-to-man. And the only time they were in man-to-man was when we were in 3rd and long, 3rd and forever. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, he doesn't even understand that part of it.
Exactly. So I just want to make sure. So the last thing you would call on 3rd and 13 is a QB draw.
Nah, because it's not going to work. He might get 7 at the most. But you'd be better off doing like a halfback out of the backfield angle route or something up the middle. Something to go behind the zone, something to go behind the linebackers and kind of sit in a spot. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
Go ahead.
Here's the other aspect. So the game-winning drive, first and foremost, Purdy didn't even get touched the entire drive, which was really bad.
Time out before we get into that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any slander on the defense on that last drive from Purdy. I don't want to hear it. I heard somebody before talk about defense only needed to do 1 stop. Fuck that. The defense gave you 3 stops in the 2 in the 3rd quarter, 1 in the 4th. They gave you stops. Then you had a flood punt where we were on the other side of the 50 and gave them the ball. So special teams and defense did exactly what they were supposed to do in that game. I don't want to hear anything about the offense or the defense only needed to do 1 stop. They gave you 4 stops, and you did nothing with it. So I don't want to hear nothing about the Purdy last drive, because Purdy's last drive shouldn't even have mattered. We should have got 14 points from the 2 turnovers that Quinion gave you. At least 10.
If. I'm just saying.
At least 10 points should have been gotten off of those. So that drive that Purdy had shouldn't even mattered.
They shouldn't have had anything in the second half because we should have long offensive drives.
100%. Just like the long offensive drive we had. We drove down the first time after they scored. They got scored quick. We had a long drive, got the 6 points, missed the field goal, Missy Elliott, missed the extra point. Then we had another long drive and got 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying we have to go with the facts are, and they had a last drive, and this is what it was. And we had no pressure on him the entire drive. So that's just a fact that we just have to look at.
Well,
and
I
that bothered me.
That pressure. We got held on 2 of them now.
And I agree with that too. But we still got no pressure, and that was tough. So here's the difference between a Shanahan and a Patullo, which is like, King Kong versus my dog.
Mhm.
You've got a last offensive play. It's 3rd and goal. You have to make a touchdown. And what does he call? He calls a CMC Texas route where he shoots this way and comes back, which even with the best linebacker in the world is not going to cover that.
And it was a solo route. It was the only person he was looking at the whole time.
Because they had schemed, and this is the difference between him and Patullo. He schemed to everybody start here and then slowly move across the end zone. Did you see how they just all swept from left to right in front of Brock Purdy? So the only person left by themselves, and he was wide open, was CMC because he did a nice Texas route. Did I see one Texas route? Did I see any wheel routes? Nothing from Patullo that would be perfect for a zone.
Nope.
Because once you get past that first guy, if you can get around that first guy, there's a gap between the zone guy behind you deep and the guy short. There's that little middle area. That's where you throw it.
Yep.
So that's what killed me to watch something like that break that. And I said, as I'm saying you, Patullo's not stupid. He just doesn't know how to call a game. And that's where the difference is that I got to figure out how I'm going to scheme this zone in the second half.
I'm going to go with stupid. I mean, you can say what you want to say. I'm going to go with stupid.
By the way, did you also notice that the Eagles ran the whole last drive 2-by-2 formation every time down the field?
Yep. No
same routes, all verticals.
No creativity.
All in routes. There was no difference. They're all running. He ran the same play for 10 times.
No creativity.
I mean, Hurts has got to be like, dude, you got to call a different fucking play. The defense must be like, this is a joke, right? Because I see the guy coming. I know exactly what's going to run. It's like, this is a joke, right? At some point, the guy's got to be like, they're not going to run the same play, are they?
Yeah.
So every play, and then second down, Goddard, if he hung on a bit longer, if there was one play where if he had hung in a little bit longer, like that Hurts held a little longer, he had Goddard a little bit, but there's just no time where those guys really broke free on any play. They just didn't break free because it was the same route. Dan Orlovsky called it a high school offense with little to no scheme.
I agree. Nick Foles would be a good offensive coordinator.
I would like Nick Foles. I would like Nick Foles. And here's another guy that I would say also he would be happy to be OC and never want to be a head coach. I think he would enjoy calling plays. I mean, he came in with Philly. He knew what he wanted.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, 100%.
And he's got a big dick. So here you go.
Whoa.
I mean, that's not a selling point for me.
Hey, like whatever, dude. Let's next subject.
It's really amazing to have this kind of talent on this kind of offense and consistently underachieve. So that's what it's like. So, I hard to believe that on the last play, by the way, when they called a timeout, Patullo, Sirianni, they huddled together with Hurts. And the best you can come up with is a play where nobody's open.
But that's been all year, though. I mean, that's been all year.
I mean, your best play is throwing.
It's been all year. Like the thing about it is like when Smitty's dropped that pass, I was like, there's no way.
That was big.
I mean, it was like, dude, it's like you really Smitty catching that ball gives us the first down. We get 4 more downs. And I'd be like, all right, we got a chance. We got 3 more chances to get in this end zone. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And him dropping it was like, dude, like, what you gonna do now? They wasn't gonna run the same play again. They knew better than to try to give it to Goddard again because Goddard was gonna be double teamed no matter where he was at.
Right. They knew that he was going to be the safety valve.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. And at that point, it's like, part of me was wishing that it was going to happen. But you know what? If it wasn't this week, if it wasn't that week, it was going to be this week.
I think that the theme of this year, if you watch the entire second half of almost every game this year, negative running yards.
Right.
Key penalties all the time in the second half. Key penalties.
Right.
And
no offensive production in the second half ever.
Right. And not only, and here's the thing, not only key penalties that were hurting their drives, but there was a lot of times where they would have a 12 to 15-yard gain that would be negated
because
by a penalty.
Right. But here's the crazy thing. Knowing the offense that we had and knowing our, I guess, habit of not scoring in the second half, do you really think we was going to win in Chicago? Knowing that that's a fourth quarter team, no matter what they play, they're going to score like 20-something points in the fourth quarter?
Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
I believe if we had squeaked by the Niners, and this is crazy. This is what I literally envisioned. I said we beat the 49ers, and I thought we beat them by about 10 points. I really thought that.
We should have.
Then we go to Chicago, and here's the crazy part. I actually envisioned them blowing out Chicago. Like just blowing them out. Now, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had them going into Chicago and blowing them out. Just the way I saw it, they were going to blow them out. It was going to be something like 24-7. I think Caleb Williams is just going to fall on his ass. So it was a big win. Then here's the thing. We went to Seattle with their defense, and we got absolutely snockered. I mean, it was a blowout. It was we had no offense. Our defense couldn't hold them that well. We held them to like 20 points, but we scored like 6 points, 2 field goals. That was just like,
if that was the scenario that happened, Patullo probably sticks around.
You think so?
Yeah, because they got a reason to. Oh, we were only one step away. He's gonna be one step better next year. Like that's the kind of shit they would have been talking about.
So you literally think this is the best scenario that could have ever happened?
100%. Get embarrassed. Look dumb as hell.
And real fast.
It's easy to forget how bad you looked if the success is later, right? Here's the crazy thing. Like people, and I'm gonna use this example again. Do you remember how bad Nick Foles looked when we beat Atlanta?
Right. Big time bad.
We really could have lost that game.
We should have lost that game.
Right. And then we beat the hell out of the Vikings, right? And he balls out the Super Bowl. People forget how bad Nick was in that first playoff game, how bad he was against the Raiders 2 weeks before that, and the Giants game.
No. And the next week after the Raiders, it was the Cowboys. He did one half, and he was terrible.
Horrible. And see, people forget that. But here's the crazy thing. There's nothing you can say about 6 points in the second half of a game. Remember the Buffalo game. The last regular game we played against a team, we played Buffalo, right?
0 points.
Second half was horrible.
0 points, 0 completions.
In the second half.
The whole half, no completions.
Let's forget about the Dallas game. 0 points second half.
21-0, and then you don't score anything.
Dude, so why wouldn't we lose that way in the playoffs?
Well, here's my thing. Number one, it's a sad, sad story that you got to get embarrassed at home for you to finally fire your offense coordinator. I really think they would have fired him if we got blown out by Seattle. I really think that would have been so. But to your point, it wouldn't be a guarantee. You're right. There might have been some hesitation.
Right.
I still believe that Howie and Lurie carry a lot of weight, and they would have said, listen, I know you got the Super Bowl, and congratulations, but we still run the fucking show. And you know what? We're getting rid of Patullo. I think that would have pushed it over the edge.
Nah, here's the thing. They probably put a picture up of Doug Peterson and Press Taylor and was like, you want to stick with this dude? Because if you do, there's the door. Holla at your boy.
I like your scenario much better.
Yeah. No, he walked in the office. This is what happened. He walked in the office. Let me show you what happened. This is a perfect example, right? This is what happened. They walked in the office. Nick was there. They said, "Hey, Nick, what's going on?" They was like, "What's that, Terry?" He's like, "What's this? Oh, this is your contract." He was like, "So who do you want as your offensive coordinator next year?" He's like, "Well, I'm thinking about Kevin." He's like, "Who?" He's like, "I don't think I want Kevin." He's like, "Okay, that's cool. All right, we can."
Get that tape out. Let me get that tape. Let me just run that tape. Let me get that tape. You need this masking tape right here?
Exactly. 100%. That dude walked in the office. They was like, he's like, "What's that rib?" He's like, "What's this?" Like, that's your contract.
I know you're talking about the defense, and I think they still played fine. I agree. But let me throw some things at you. Let me just throw some things at you before you get all nuts. They did give up 361 yards. The San Francisco 49ers, with very limited and without George Kittle, were 6 of 11 on third down. And they gave up plays to Demarcus Robinson and Jawan Jennings.
Yeah.
Jawan Jennings hasn't done anything in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So you guys, funny, Devin and Bubba, the Dudley Boys. Who's Devin and Bubba and the Dudley Boys?
Oh, I'm from wrestling.
Oh, he's a wrestling dude. I'd say, I mean, do you have any thoughts about them giving up? I mean, getting trashed by Demarcus Robinson and Jawan Jennings.
Nah, because here's the thing.
And that was early. That was nothing to do with the offense.
You're right. So the first drive with Robinson, right? The 2 big catches from Robinson, that got them down there to get the score. That was like, all right, cool. But then you realize those other big chunk plays that they got, like that's no different than we had during the season. Like you get the chunk plays, you get down to the red zone, and then we lock down and do what we're supposed to do. Right. This last drive that he had, yes, they did get in the end zone. So they scored 2 touchdowns. They scored 2 touchdowns, right?
Right.
And the others was like field goals.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing about it is we won the turnover battle.
We did.
It's still stuck in my head that Quinyon Mitchell gave you 2 interceptions. And then the muff punt where you get the ball on the 48. And we came away with nothing.
We actually lost yards.
Dude, that is so crazy to me because in realistic terms, at a minimum, you're supposed to at least have 13 points. At a minimum. A touchdown, 2 field goals at a minimum with 3 turnovers. Because it wasn't like he turned each time Quinyon intercepted the ball, we was at least the 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're trying to tell me you couldn't get in field goal range off of 2 turnovers?
3 times you had the ball at the 50. You got to put one of those in the end zone.
What, dude? And so I don't want to hear nothing about what our defense did. Like I don't want to hear that. Our defense did everything they could do to win you that game. You can't ask for nothing else. They gave up 500 yards. They gave you 3 golden opportunities to put up 21 points.
Which could have changed that game.
Dude, we only had 19. So we had 19 on our own, right? We had 19 on our own, right? And I'm gonna give you 3 turnovers, right? And you like, oh no, we're gonna stick with 19. Like fuck, dude.
Talk to me about A.J. Brown. Let's get a little more into the game, but A.J. Brown. So My biggest thing with this is he had a tough game. It's not a normal game for him.
Nope.
Even Brown had, even Smitty had some drops, which is insane.
Right.
My biggest thing is I hate hypocrites.
Right.
You mouthing off all year. I ain't getting this. I ain't getting that. Talking to the press.
Yeah.
Sharing everything in the locker room that you should not be sharing. He's not wrong. Everything he said, he's not wrong. But you keep that in-house. You don't spread it. So he had no problem telling the world all his issues. I ain't getting this and that. Then you have a bad game, and you need to go up and stand up the spotlight, and you leave early?
Nah. So here's
the thing. Out of here.
This is the thing. This is what I want media to do. This is what I want the media to do for A.J. Brown. Because I don't think A.J. is going anywhere. I don't think the team, it wouldn't be smart to let him go.
Right.
And the reason why is because it impacts us more negatively to let him go than it does just to keep him. Now you can be unhappy and you can sit here, you can get your check, but you won't get any extra incentives, and you can be that asshole. You can be that dude. You understand what I'm saying? You can be the Antonio Brown. Go ahead. I don't care, right? But here's the thing. When the next season starts and you go out and you have a 3 touchdown game, and the media be like, hey, y'all want to talk to me? And they be like, nah, we don't talk to you. We don't want to hear what you got to say. Let him mouth off and start tweeting again, and nobody say anything to him. Ignore the hell out of A.J. Brown, right? Now you start getting your feelings because you're not getting the attention you want. You want to be in the spotlight, but when the spotlight is on you in your biggest moment, you F up. Now, me as a comedian, you as a comedian too, right? Sometimes we do get them spotlight opportunities. Sometimes you do get that phone call you're not expecting.
Right.
Right? Hey, Chappelle's here. We need this mic open for him. Oh, shit. What? Right?
Right.
You go out there, you can sink or swim. Right?
Right.
But you're supposed to be prepared at all times for that spotlight opportunity. You're supposed to
Right.
have your 5 ready, right?
Right.
Your hot 5, you're supposed to have that ready at all times, right?
Right.
You had your opportunity and you messed it up. But you did that to yourself because you've been talking all year. Smitty had the same drop, but he ain't been talking shit, right? Media ain't care nothing about Smitty having that drop.
And Smitty sticked around and answered all his questions.
But he didn't get ridiculed like AJ would have. You know what I'm saying? Remember the game in Washington when Smitty dropped that ball, and if he would have got the ball, they would have won that game, that Washington game when Hurts got hurt?
Last year, yeah.
And what did Smitty say? He said, man, I got to make that catch, man. He's like, I can't, I got to make that. That's all he said.
Yep.
That's all AJ had to say. I got to make that, dog. I got to make that catch. That's me.
And he couldn't even wait 5 minutes to take his medicine.
Nah, he don't want it. You don't want to listen. If you don't want to face your responsibilities, you can't be that loud in private, right? And then be that quiet in public. You know what I mean? You want to be the Twitter fingers and all that stuff. And if you're not happy here, here's the crazy thing. I think AJ was unhappy with Patullo.
I think so too. Absolutely.
But I think his acting out was his way of saying, I don't like Patullo. Everybody else tried to keep it professional. Now, if he come back in and now he all like, he ain't got nothing to say to nobody, we already know what it was. Because he was kind of a problem with Kellen, right?
Little bit, not much.
The whole Ricky Book thing, I didn't get that because they said he always did that, right?
Yeah, and I think that's bullshit. But here's the thing, you're right. The only time that it got bad, and then remember he had the Steelers game and everything got quieted down. He got his yards, he got his touchdowns, and you never really heard from him since then. But he was kind of chirping a little bit just before that game. And it's very well it should, because things weren't going well passing game. The run game was still going well, but the passing game was not working if they started to shut it down. So that's when Moore kind of schemed him open a little bit. But that's the difference between Moore and Patullo. He schemed him open so that he could get his catches.
Right.
So you're right. But he didn't sound off as much last year as he did this year. This year was a whole different story. And I think you're right. I think you're dead on that.
Because he had no way of getting her open. And see, AJ knew them routes was bullshit anyway.
Which is why he wasn't doing them. He was running. He was going through the motions.
Right.
And I think that's why, too, when his moment came for him to catch balls, he wasn't even ready because he
probably was like, they ain't throwing it to me.
What's that?
He probably was like, they ain't throwing to me.
Yeah, and he's not mentally ready because he's like, I'm just going to go through the motions and say, oh, my God, the ball's there.
It's like when you play basketball with a point guard that always passes.
Right.
Like when you get down in the paint, you just got to have your hands ready because you don't know if this dude going to dish it off to you or not.
Right.
So, like, it's like one of those situations. But, all this stuff can change.
Or if you got a James Harden, you're going to sit there like this all game because you ain't getting the ball.
You're not going to get it. Right. And the thing about it is, it's like when they hire this new OC, I'm pretty sure that OC is going to reach out to AJ and be like, hey, man, what's the problem? Like, what we need to do?
But I tell you right now, until I see differently, AJ, you are a coward, man. You are a coward because if you can't stand up on the good and the bad times, you a coward.
You know what he playing right now in his headphones?
I'm a coward?
Nah, he's playing the Redman's I'll Be That.
Yeah.
I'll be that.
In 2026.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I agree with you. I don't think Hurts was terrible, and his numbers would have looked a lot better if AJ caught passes, if Smith caught passes, if Saquon didn't have a couple of drops.
Right.
He would have looked a lot better.
Right. There were some situations where his teammates let him down.
Absolutely.
Like Jalen didn't turn the ball over. He took care of the ball like he normally does. But some of those guys had to make plays for Jalen.
Yeah, I mean, I put it more on his teammates, but could Hurts been better? Of course. Everybody could have been better.
It could always be better. But my whole thing is AJ dropped 3. You catch one of those catches.
Different ball game.
Game.
Yeah.
You catch one of those catches, it's a different game. Now, how many times you can say AJ dropped the ball 3 times in a game?
So here's the other aspect of the defense, real fast, before we move on to the free agents. I know the defense. You said they did their job, but did it bother you at all that they didn't have really a lot of pressure? They had 1 sack Sunday. They didn't get a whole lot of pressure on him all game. Did that bother you at all?
I felt like I was expecting to see him in a little bit more duress than he was.
Absolutely.
But I mean, one of them he escaped. Like, I don't know how the hell he got out of that shit. Well, that shit was amazing. Like, I was like, how the hell he get out of that?
And here's the thing: I'm not saying that the defense didn't do their job. I agree that overall in that game they did their job.
Like he should have been moved off the spot more than he was.
Thank you. Exactly. The only thing is that I just didn't see the pressure that they have been bringing the past 3 or 4 games.
You're right. But here's the thing: I won't knock them because they don't have a bad offensive line. Like, their offensive line is not bad.
True.
Now here's the one thing I will say. I think they dedicated more of their effort of stopping the run because CMC did not get off running the ball at all. So I felt like they made a conscious decision to be like, the run is more important than the pass rush. And it's stop CMC first and pass rush is like secondary. And it was like gap control, gap discipline, all of those things to kind of eliminate or monitor CMC. So
that could have been it. That could have been it.
Take one over the other. It's kind of like how Kansas City did us for the Super Bowl. It's like, hey, everybody else gonna have the ball out because Saquon ain't getting shit. Like, and that was like, so that's how I kind of look at it. It's like if you put all that on a pass rush, CMC is gonna burn. It's like something's got to give. My whole thing is Jawan Jennings and Robinson and all those people that got off on us. That's fine. That number 23 though, the only way you got your touchdown is off a trick goddamn play.
Yep. Yeah,
and like, that's crazy because I'm like, how'd you lose that dude?
Yeah, because Reed Blankenship is an idiot.
Well, Reed might not be here next year.
Yeah, I know. I say. So we're getting to that in a sec. So yeah, Eagles failed to score a touchdown in the second half. 6 games this season. 6 games, including Sunday. And here's the thing. Ready? It happened 6 times this season in total, including the playoffs. It happened a total of once last year. It happened 4 times in 2023 when we were shitty.
There you go.
Weird part is it happened 4 times in 2022. The weird part is it happened only once in 2021 when we lost to Tampa Bay. So this is the most it's happened. And I think when you could say in 2022 when we went to the Super Bowl, we didn't need to score in the second half because we were blowing them out in the first half.
Blowing them teams out, bro.
So the Eagles were one of the worst fourth quarter teams in the NFL during the year, outscored 124-88. They outscored 13-3 in the fourth quarter Sunday. That's very concerning.
That's
yeah, Quinyon, I'd say, had one of his worst series early on, but he did come back with the 2 picks.
That dude made up for that shit immediately. I'm like, dude play a possum? Like, hey, man, I guess you can pass on me. Psych, give me that shit. Stop playing.
But it's weird that they had – You did call it.
Hell yeah, I called that shit.
It's weird that the blueprint for this game was identical to all season.
Yeah.
Get up a couple of scores – and then just hope your defense does the rest of the second half.
The defense, but they did. And then, like, you just didn't do – it's crazy. That's so crazy to me, dude.
A couple of solid early scores.
Yes.
And then they completely shut down the offense. Check. Frustrating penalties that wipe away big plays. Check. Offense missing Lane Johnson. Check. Jake Elliott missing something. Check.
Yeah.
Everything
that happened all season happened in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it just was a blueprint. Blankenship getting schooled on a trick play. I mean, I don't know what the hell that is. Thank you, Nick, for I agree, Star Wars. That is pretty good. Yeah, they just didn't get the job done, and he has some different stuff. So let's look at the needs for next year. Let's start with that, and then we'll get into free agents. So your needs for next year, I have my top 6. Mm-hmm. You can give me your top 6 if you have it first.
Top 6 are needs for next year?
Yeah, in order of groupings.
Offensive line, tackle.
That's my number 1.
Tight end.
That's my number 3.
Safety,
6,
cornerback,
5.
and another pass rusher.
Okay. So my order was in order. Number 1, offensive line reinforcements. I think guard, center, tackles, everybody. We need offensive line reinforcements. We got to get – we don't know if Cam and Dickerson are coming back as good as they are. Number 2 was pass rusher. We need some guy heavy in the drawers a little bit. I'm not saying he's got to be like 200 pounds, 300 pounds or anything, but we need a couple of guys. And I think, as I told you, our best bet is to keep Phillips. I know he said it's tough. I get that it's a lot of maneuvering we got to do. But he knows Vic's scheme. He was pretty good most of the year. He didn't have a great playoff game, but I believe that guy, after Smith and Hunt, if those guys go down, you have nobody, and I mean nobody, who can play end. Who's behind those guys? If you have on Phillips and Graham anymore, who's behind that? Nobody. Uche's gone. Ojulari's gone. You have nobody back there.
Mm-hmm.
So number 3 is tight ends. I think you got to get 2 of them.
Honestly. Yeah, you do need 2 of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want Grant Calcaterra back. He's absolutely cannot block, and he's a
you might be able to get Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, but you know what? He was all pro this year.
Yeah, he's a free agent though. He's going to ball out contract year. Of course, he's going to ball out, but he needs a new environment.
But we need somebody we don't have to pay that much, and he wants to get paid.
Hey man, he's young enough. You can pay him.
But you're telling me we can't afford anybody with with Jalen Carter.
So you can't afford to pay Goddard that type of money. You can pay somebody that's going to be on your team for the next 5 years.
Okay.
You take care of a need and it's taken care of.
All right, I could go with that.
Yeah.
Number 4, actually have wide receivers. I mean, I think you're right. I think AJ's going to be back, but this wide receiver core is too deep, and that's it. There's nobody else.
No, well, yeah. I mean, don't we get Wilson back next year?
Johnny Wilson, but again, is this guy going to be a solid 3? I don't know.
I mean, he just hasn't played. I mean, keep getting hurt.
So, but that's what, to your point, sometimes when you put that guy in there and he sink or swim and he sinks, you're in bad shape.
Yeah.
Number 5 is cornerback. You got to get somebody on the other side. And number 6 for me was safety.
Safety. Yeah, safety.
Who's coming back?
Yeah.
Maybe you get Reed Blankenship on a cheap. Maybe you get him on a cheap. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, here's the thing. There are going to be free agents out there that want to come play for the Eagles.
And I agree. If we don't have to take Blankenship back, I don't. But I would have somebody match up that's really nice with Makuba, who knows how to play in Vic's defense.
100%.
So free agents on the offense. Let me just go down. So you have Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson, Fred Johnson, Brett Toth, Grant Calcaterra, Kylan Granson, Matt Pryor, Sam Howell, A.J. Dillon, Ben Van Sumeren. Of that whole group, I have one person I'm keeping.
Oh, I already know who you want to keep.
Go ahead.
You want to keep Jalen Phillips.
No. That's just the offense. I just said the offense.
Oh, Dallas for the Goedert, offense.
Jahan Dotson, Fred Johnson, Brett Toth, Grant Calcaterra, Kylan Granson,
Fred Johnson.
There's only one guy.
Question. You keep Fred Johnson. Matter of fact, you already made a mistake and let him go once. Do not make that mistake again. Fred Johnson needs to be signed yesterday.
Yeah, I think they'll do that in the offseason.
You don't let that man out the building. You matter of fact, you have his agent on speed dial. Like, hey man, don't let no other team come holler at you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now on defense, we can agree on the offense that only one person's coming back, and that's Fred Johnson. I don't need anybody else back. On defense, here you go. Nakobe Dean, Jalen Phillips, Reed Blankenship, Marcus Epps, Adoree Jackson, Brandon Graham, Joshua Uche, Azeez Ojulari, and Ugbo Akanagalogo. Of all those guys, who do you want back? Who would you like back, and who do you think will come back?
I think Epps comes back on the cheap if they allow him to.
I agree.
He'll come back on the cheap because I don't think there's a market for Epps.
I don't think so either.
I think he knows the scheme. He's comfortable. We're comfortable with him. Whether it's a backup role, I don't think we go into the season with Epps as our option, right?
I think he's the fourth safety, and I'm happy with him as the fourth safety.
Blankenship, there could be a market for Blankenship. There really could be one, especially for a team that just doesn't have the safety, right?
Right.
I think he offers a discount rate for the Eagles for the fact that he wants to stay and he wants to be around with Coop.
Right. exciting whites.
Right. I don't think we can keep Nakobe Dean.
I agree.
I would like for him to stay, but he's going to get an offer from somebody else that's going to pay him more than what the Eagles are able to offer him.
Yeah,
and it'd be dumb for him to stay, especially with his injury history and things like that. Jalen Phillips, I think, is too expensive for us. But we do need a pass rusher.
Yeah. And there's no guarantee with the draft.
Yeah, Adori's gone.
Oh, yeah.
We can get a cornerback in free agency,
Yeah.
a better one in free agency or the draft.
I think the only person that they really want back is Jalen Phillips. And I think he wants to be here. I think there's mutual interest. It's a question of, like you were saying, can they make it work on the money?
It's the money.
If Dean, Blankenship, Jackson, all those guys, if none of them, if Epps came back on the cheap, I agree with you there. But if none of those guys, let's say for the sake of argument, if none of those guys came back,
they'll pay Jalen Phillips.
If they can pay Jay Phillips, they will. But if none of them come back other than Phillips, I don't think I'm going to miss anybody. I mean, I love Nakobe Dean, but you got to put Campbell in there, and you got to start his career.
You drafted the man. You might as well go ahead and pay him. I mean, Jalen Campbell's in the same situation Nakobe Dean was in, right? Nakobe Dean came in and he learned on the job. He did his thing, but he's been hurt 3 out of the 4 years.
Well, you got to remember the first 2 years he was ass. He was total ass.
I wouldn't say I think he was learning though. I wouldn't say he was ass, man. Like Nakobe has always been like the first year. I say he struggled a lot, right?
Right.
But I think he showed promise when we had who was there with Brian Johnson? Who was the defensive coordinator for that one?
Oh, it was the guy from Seattle. Sean something.
Yeah. He showed promise with him as the D coordinator. So he wasn't horrible, right? So then then you get Vic that came he looked like a rookie his first year. I will put it that way. Yes, he did like a rookie. But he just got better and better. But the thing about it is he couldn't stay on the field for us to be able to really appreciate what he could do.
Yeah, so his rookie year, 2022, he didn't play at all. 2023, I think he struggled again. Obviously, the Super Bowl year, I mean, a whole different world.
Yeah.
I mean, my saying being ass, meaning I don't think he's a bad player. He just looked like ass for 2 years.
Right, but then, like I said, like once he got his feet, under him, and he started understanding what he could do. I think the mental reps helped him a lot too, even when he was out for that time. Like the mental reps, because when he came back, he was on fire, dude.
Right, and I think
him paired up with Zach Bond made it even easier for himself.
Yeah, I think what the other thing is too is I think with a full off season with Jahad Campbell, he's going to get what Nakobe Dean has. I think he just needs an off season first.
Right, and I feel like Jahad Campbell is going to be able to do all of those things. Like the thing about it to me is if you keep Nakobe Dean, you can't let Campbell grow.
Absolutely,
and here's the other thing there. You know what I'm saying?
And it was funny because I'm watching the Hard Knocks, and they asked all the dudes. I think it was all the Giants guys together. I think it was the Giants. They were having a dinner, and they asked the rookie, like, "What did you find like interesting about the season or different?" Blah blah blah. And one of the things I thought was kind of interesting, he said, it was just nice to concentrate on football. No school aspects, no this or that. So he's like, it was kind of nice. I think with Jahad Campbell, it's like coming off that rookie stuff and you're finishing school. There's so much going through your mind that it's hard to concentrate. So I think this offseason is going to be a big difference for him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one guy who I'm definitely signing.
Who's that?
Who's my boy I loved all year, gave him props all year because nobody gave him props. Who's my boy?
You talking about the punter?
Yeah!
Oh, man. Oh, is he on the contract? He's a free agent?
He is a free agent, my friend.
Man, that dude about to get paid crazy.
Because he had a fantastic year. I mean, he wasn't Pro Bowl or All Pro.
He had to lead the league in punts, man.
So my top order of re-signing, if I had to put it in this thing, it would be Phillips, Brandon Mann, Fred Johnson. I put even Nakobe Dean in there just because it's a priority, and then the last one is Blankenship. So that's my top 5 of who I would re-sign.
Yeah.
All right, so we are ending up this thing. Of course, we have to do our trivia. So listen up, folks. Put your answers in the comments because the first person comment right, we will send you out some beautiful, unbelievable, beautiful merchandise that we have at BroadStreetMisery.com. My first one out to you, and you'll know this, man. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are the first Eagle cornerbacks to be voted first team All-Pro since who? By the way, this is the 7th time. Oh, thank you, Lisa. She sent out love. She's like, I think Two Hearts was the guy. This is the 7th time a team has had its 2 top picks from a draft class earn first team All-Pro honors within the first 2 NFL seasons. So remember, this is the 7th time a season has its 2 top picks from a draft class earn first team All-Pro honors within the first 2 NFL seasons. 7th time it happens. The Eagles are one of those former teams that had their first 2 draft picks earn all-team first honors in their first 2 seasons. Who are those players? Good question. By the way, Smith's 595 postseason receiving yards in 9 preseason games is already the Eagles' postseason record and 8th most ever by a player in his first 4 seasons. The only other Eagles with multiple 100-yard postseason receiving games are... Who are they? So the only other Eagles with multiple 100-yard postseason receiving games, who are those 2 guys? You got to name them both. All right. So there you go. So you 3 questions this evening. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, first Eagles cornerback to be voted first team All-Pro since who? This is the 7th time a team has had 2 top draft picks from a draft class earn first team All-Pro honors. The Eagles are a former past thing that had their first 2 picks in All-Pro in the first 2 seasons. Who are they? And then the last but not least, Smith leads the Eagles in postseason receiving yards, but there are 2 former Eagles who had multiple 100-yard games in the postseason. Who are they? All right, there you go. There's your trivia. There's all of our stuff. We are bummed that we have to end the season, but Jay and I are going to be back for 2 episodes before the draft. We're going to do our draft preview and then our final draft one. So we're coming back in April for the draft classes. And we'll also do a free agency in March. We're going to do right before free agency, we're going to do a preview of free agency, who we like, and then we're going to comment on what the Eagles did in free agency, whether it was good or bad. So we have 2 of those bracketed for free agency, and then have 2 of those bracketed for the Eagles draft. So tune in March and April for those. Jay, it's been a hell of a year. It's been a frustrating year. It's been an interesting year. And my complaining and my annoyance is going to continue because, quite frankly, that's the only thing that keeps this show going. But we'll be back again in March and able to talk more about the Eagles stuff, and we'll give you our early previews of all that stuff. But so, Jay, what would you like to see this Eagles team do over this next year? What would be the most important thing they can do to get back besides the OC? Obviously, the OC is going to be big. Who would you like to see as far as maybe a signing, a draft, any kind of move to South? I mean, even getting rid of AJ, whatever you think.
I think getting back to the basics of running the ball, understanding that running the ball effectively is our only path to winning another Super Bowl. We don't have the quarterback to be able to put it in a quarterback's hands and be like, oh, you're gonna throw it 40 times and we're gonna blow the NFL up. That's just not how we've done things.
Right.
Understand that our formula to winning is always defense, running the ball, not turning the ball over. It's just that simple. It's not anything that difficult. We already got the pieces in place. We ain't got to do a lot like everybody else has to. The Eagles are going to be in it. I mean, regardless of whether they want to admit it or not, they're going to be one of the top teams regardless of what happens. I don't care if we start off 0-3 next year. We still one of them top teams. It's just what it is, man. So it ain't that many. Howie's job is not as hard as everybody thinks it is right now.
It isn't. It isn't. I think it's. I mean, my biggest thing is what I would like to see for next year is some sort of either rebuild or surgeries, whatever, for the offensive line to get them healthy for next year. That's
right. And this window, I say our window right now is 2 years. We got a 2-year window to get a Super Bowl.
Well,
after that, we talking about blowing everything up.
I think we have the youngest defense in the NFL, so I don't think it's 2 years. That's probably 3 or 4 years.
When I say blow up, I'm talking about you start thinking about quarterback again. You start thinking about receivers again. Like you start rethinking everything. I'm not saying Jalen can't be here for 5 more years, but I don't see that being a thing.
If he doesn't get back to the Super Bowl and he doesn't continue to show progress, I believe you're right, is that they're going to get frustrated with him and move on.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. It's like, when McNabb was with the Eagles, the reason why McNabb lasted as long as he did is because in the early part of his career, his legs were very important in who he was and how he was able to continue plays and do what he had to do. McNabb stuck around as long as he did because he was still very capable of being a pocket passer too, without utilizing his legs. And when he got slower and older, he was still able to make those throws.
Right.
Andy, being in his genius wisdom ways, was able to get a couple more years out of McNabb before he had to go to Vic.
Yep. There you go. All right.
And so that's what we're dealing with.
Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in for the 2025 season that unfortunately ended a little early. We expect to see you back in 2026. Again, we will be back in March and April for the free agency as well as draft. And then we'll be back again for training camp back in August. So thank you as always for tuning in. Sorry it ended early, but you can always catch us on old clips and everything you want to see. And again, on X, Apple Tunes, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. As always, I'm Corey Alexander along with
Jay Bliss.
And thank you for tuning in for Fly Eagles Fly podcast on the Broad Street Misery Network. Please check out, again, the trivia questions for tonight. Send your answers in and check out the merchandise on BroadStreetMisery.com. We love you. We'll see you again in March. God bless you. Take care. Peace.
Go Birds.